According to ancient Hindu texts, when a dispute arose over supreme power, Lord Shiva manifested as an infinite column of light that pierced through the dark elemental void. This radiant pillar, the Jyotirlinga, represents his endless, unmanifested nature. From that singular mythological event, the texts identified 12 distinct physical sites across the Indian subcontinent, where this divine light is believed to have erupted from the earth. Millions of devotees set out every year to visit these shrines, but many struggle by treating the journey like a standard tourist checklist. These sites demand entirely different physical and logistical commitments. This map shows the geographical spread of the 12 Jyotirlingas. You are looking at a sprawling network spanning thousands of kilometers, stretching from the high Himalayas in the north to the coastal tips of the south. Distance is only half the equation. When we shift this map to a topographical view, you can see the extreme variations in altitude. The deep red nodes indicate severe, high-altitude environments that are only open seasonally, while the green nodes represent sea-level urban shrines accessible year-round. This creates a strict trade-off. You have to weigh your spiritual ambition against your actual physical stamina, your budget, and your available time. Completing the Jyotirlinga Yatra requires you to ruthlessly match your personal capacity to the specific demands of the shrine you choose. If your primary resource is physical endurance, you look toward the extreme end of the spectrum, Kedarnath in the Garhwal Himalayas. Sitting at an altitude of nearly 3,600 meters, this stone temple is completely dwarfed by the massive snow-covered peaks surrounding it. Getting here requires a grueling 16-kilometer ascent up steep, rocky mountain paths. While some are carried in traditional wicker baskets, most rely entirely on their own legs to conquer the elevation. Pushing your body up to that altitude introduces immediate medical risks. Pilgrims regularly battle altitude sickness, dropping oxygen levels, and severe muscle exhaustion just to reach the base of the shrine. The reward for enduring that ascent is standing before an ancient, mortarless Nagara-style temple. Massive slabs of gray granite and gneiss are interlocked so tightly they have survived centuries of shifting earth. Yet that architecture is constantly tested by a highly volatile landscape. The temple sits on a glacial moraine, making it incredibly vulnerable to mudslides, avalanches, and catastrophic floods that can wipe out the surrounding infrastructure in hours. The environmental hostility peaks in late autumn. From November to April, the mountain temple is buried in snow and entirely inaccessible to the public. Because of this deep freeze, the deity is ceremonially relocated 135 kilometers down the valley to the Omkareshwar temple in Ukhimath, where daily worship continues uninterrupted through the winter. Kedarnath offers an immense physical and historical triumph, but achieving it demands absolute submission to Himalayan weather patterns and rigorous physiological preparation. If a steep mountain trek is physically out of reach, the alternative is the highly structured path of the urban shrines. In central India, Mahakaleshwar in Ujjain sits comfortably at city level, offering immense spiritual access without the altitude. The primary incentive here is ritualistic. Every morning at 4 a.m., priests perform the Bhasma Arti, an exclusive ceremony where the deity is anointed with sacred ash amid Vedic chanting and rhythmic drums. But bypassing the physical toll of a mountain requires paying a heavy logistical toll. Accessing that morning ritual means securing passes months in advance, navigating rigid dress codes, and joining queues at 1 a.m. Moving west to Maharashtra, Trimbakeshwar provides another urban advantage: year-round access to intricate, preserved architecture. This structure utilizes heavy black basalt fitted together without mortar, showcasing a distinct 13th century style and sheltering a rare three-faced lingam housed in a subterranean sanctum. Head further south to sites like Mallikarjuna or Rameshwaram. The aesthetic shifts to sprawling, symmetrical Dravidian corridors with massive carved pillars under brightly painted ceilings. Yet the very accessibility that makes these architectural and ritual marvels possible also invites thousands of people. Navigating these spaces means pressing through dense, suffocating crowds, particularly during major festival weeks. The urban shrines remove the physical barrier of a mountain ascent. In its place, they substitute severe sleep deprivation, intense bureaucratic friction, and relentless crowd management. For some, the ultimate spiritual milestone is the Grand Circuit, visiting all 12 Jyotirlingas in one continuous trip. This map visualizes the sheer scale of that ambition. Connecting all 12 locations requires traversing upwards of 15,000 kilometers of road, rail, and air travel. Executing this continuously demands a minimum of 1 full month. You absorb 30 consecutive days of transit and physical exertion. Attempting this as a single, unbroken sprint reliably leads to heavy fatigue. The spiritual clarity you seek gets buried under the stress of catching the next flight and navigating the next crowd. A far more sustainable method is the phased approach. By breaking the 12-point map into isolated regional loops, you can tackle a western block or a northern block one dedicated trip at a time. Completing all 12 sites is a massive undertaking. Treating it as a multi-year project preserves your energy, your finances, and your ability to actually appreciate the history standing right in front of you. With 12 distinct shrines demanding totally different inputs of time, stamina, and patience, the question is where you should actually begin. This decision tree maps options based on constraints. If you have physical stamina, follow the first path to Kedarnath's high-altitude shrines, targeting the May to October window. Alternatively, if time-poor but seeking ritual immersion, follow the second path to urban centers like Mahakaleshwar. This makes you the accessible ritualist, trading physical strain for logistical planning and 1 a.m. queues. Finally, with abundant time and budget, you follow the third path toward the full phased circuit. As the grand completist, your main challenge is avoiding burnout. You must commit to splitting the massive circuit into manageable regional phases. Standing inside just one of these shrines with intention and focus is a complete and valid pilgrimage on its own. A truly transformative Jyotirlinga Yatra depends on that alignment, matching your spiritual ambition to the physical and logistical reality of the terrain.